Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope you've had a wonderful week. The weekend is finally here. So, been playing Skull and Bones, and I want to put a video out for all those new players who are just coming in, or even the veteran players. Now, understand not everybody in this game has been able to really take advantage of the upgrade systems that are currently here for your ships, because there's a lot of new players here. Now, I want to discuss, in my opinion, what the top ships are that you should focus on to save you some hassle. I'd hate to see you waste your time building up a ship that you're just frankly just not going to be happy with. So, one of my favorite ships, and we're going to count up to the number one ship here, but I'm going to start with probably one of my favorite ships in this game currently right now. I do really enjoy the River Rat. For those of you who are coming into the game and you're new, I do recommend a sloop, and I recommend that you upgrade this thing fully. It is just a fantastic ship. You're going to get a lot of really nice perks. You get an explosive weaponry perk. If you use weapons that specialize in explosive damage, you get this outburst perk, and this is going to hit 50% chance of triggering an explosion. Okay, that's going to send out a pulse wave of a blast, basically 1,500 damage with a blast radius of about 150 meters. Now, if you're wondering what that is, that's what they call an AOE, or an area of effect type of a weapon, and it just is great for crowd control. Fantastic, and it's one of the easiest ships to get, and even the easiest ship to upgrade, because it's a lot of the entry-level materials, and you can use this. We use this thing today on Mega Fort Houston in all sorts of situations with bosses. It's probably one of the most versatile ships you're going to find in this game. I recommend that you bring it into your inventory here, guys. Okay, now, one of my least favorite ships in this game is the Brig. I don't know that the blueprint's available right now, but when that Brig, I'm not talking about the Brigantine, I'm talking about the Brig. When that comes out, this thing is garbage. I mean, that's not even worth having in your inventory. I hate that I even brought it to a rank 13 back when it first come out. But we were getting a lot of new ships and was really excited about it. Complete garbage. Now, a ship that is a pretty great ship, I don't typically use it because I'm not much of a tank player. But for those of you who are tanks, I do recommend that you put in this Juggernaut class. It is a battle junk is the name of it, and this ship is just amazing when it comes to bracing. For those of you who love the snow, maybe you've started off in the game and you're always talking about the snow a lot, well, this thing is going to outbrace that snow by far. Now, another one of my favorite is the Bark class. This is a pretty versatile ship here. To me, this is, as you can see, I've upgraded a lot of these to 15s. In fact, I have two schooners, and we're going to go over those builds, just a versatile ship. But this Bark class, so I typically will run this as a support ship, just healing folks. It's going to restore severe damage by 0.4. It does whole health 0.4 per second, which is about 200 of what it's kicking out for everybody. It's kicking out about 200 heals every second. Now you can really start to build upon that with furnitures and stuff like that. And repair weapons do a great job of repairing your friends around you. And then there's perks you can put on those weapons that when you're repairing them, it's repairing you. But you can also put weapons on it and create what they call a battle bark. And that is something that is healing itself while you're fighting the enemy. So you're not really having to take a lot of damage. Now, this is one of the ships that I like to use against sea monsters. Mainly because some of those things, like the sharks and stuff, when they hit you, they leave permanent damage. Or even doing forts, you can get a lot of permanent damage. Well, this is going to heal that without having to use things like Ouroboros armor or even a maintenance forge. So this is a really nice ship for you to add to your collection. The sharpshooter, if you are just a fantastic shop and you love these sniper type games and stuff like that, you're going to love this ship. I myself, I'm not much on sniper stuff, but this here is a good ship. I had to go ahead and upgrade it just because it does such a great job with the Deadeye perk. I mean, you're looking at being able to cap at 80%. your whole health 40% or lower, increases armor by 500, and trimming no longer costs crew stamina for 10 seconds. And it has this revolver perk on the front that gives you 6 shots on the front weapon. I mean, that's just fantastic when you have some of these long guns that now have these imminent doom perks and stuff that set off these secondary explosions and things like that, and every shot ends up becoming an imminent doom. It's just fantastic. I do recommend that you add that to your collection, guys. Now, probably was my favorite ship for the longest time in this game until the schooner come out, and it is the Sambuck. Now, this ship gets a lot of hate, but it also gets a lot of love. You either love this ship or you hate it. There's no in between typically. When it comes to a Sambuck class, if you've heard the term glass cannon, this is a glass cannon. Now, you can find ways around to make it a little tougher, but you're going to be taking some serious damage, so you want to put out as much damage as possible. And if you're new to my channel, definitely look into my builds for year 2, because I've got a fantastic build that's going to put out maximum damage using this ship like you've never seen, and you're going to be able to sink them before they sink you if you adhere to that build. So great 5,000 burning damage. It's called Scorch. It deals 5,000 burning damage when you kick off the Ablaze effect. The way this is built, the Ablaze effect comes out pretty much every shot or every other shot. It's going to send out an amplified blast wave of fire of 150 meters, and it's going to deal 5,000 damage with that. Now, one of the cool things about it is it's going to increase damage to the ships that are affected by the blaze effect by another 30% on top of that. So you already have a blaze effect in the game, and then that has a lot of the weapons on there. It's going to add to that, and you will be able to start chain reactions where it'll just blow ship up after ship like a domino effect coming down through the water, man. It's just fantastic crowd control. You have that firebug perk where you do 100% more damage, lasts 50% of the duration, decreases the fire weapon's reload time by 12%. So these things are just fantastic. It's a great ship. But like I said, it has now, in my opinion, been replaced as one of the now second foremost DPS ships. The first foremost, obviously, in my opinion, has got to be this new schooner class. And I'm going to discuss 2 of the builds that I love the most in here. So this is a new build for me here that I built here earlier today, and I've been playing with it tonight, doing raids and bosses and sea monsters and all sorts of stuff. This ship is going to excel at your broadside attacks, which is where most of your attacks and battles are going to take place, is off the side of that ship. Now, you can, of course, attack off the front and back, and I'm going to show you how to increase those damages as well. But you get this Fury perk, which is going to increase damage to structures by 50%. So you're going to be able to really focus in on doing some forts as well. You're going to have an increased weak point damage, taking 30% for 10 seconds. You're going to be having this weapon hits at 30% chance to trigger Fury on self for 15 seconds, boosting your broadside weapon damage for 25%. While active, your broadsides can trigger a 700 damaging explosion every 3 seconds within a 100-meter blast area. And I'm going to teach you how to actually really increase that as well. Then you have this volatile perk, which is all weapons equipped on broadsides on this ship deal bonus 20% explosive damage and decreases the explosive weapon reload time by 10%. Great perks, right? I think so. And we're going to show you how to build this so you get that deep blue perk as well. So one of the things I'm using on this is Divine Winds. And you may be thinking, well, why would you use an electric weapon on a ship that specializes with the explosives? Well, because this Divine Wind actually is an explosive weapon as well. We're going to bring this up here for you. So, Divine Wind, basic stats. Has Aftershock. Summons a lightning strike after 2 seconds at the location that your shot lands. That's not a chance. That is, every shot is going to give you this Aftershock. When it hits, wherever it hits, if it's hitting water, if it's hitting a ship, that is where that lightning blast is going to hit. So great thing to have on there. Then, of course, you have Explosive 2, adds 20% of damage, adds explosive damage in a 35-meter blast radius. So you have this explosive perk that's going to be built upon with the schooner's automatic build. Then you have the electric one, which is going to add another 10% of damage as electric damage. So I went ahead and I added the combustion on here. It gave another 10.7 damage as explosive damage. I added amplified electric, increasing the existing electric damage by another 33.4%. And then amplified explosive, increasing existing explosive damage by 32.9%. And all of those perks are going to work with this ship to really amplify in on those explosives. Now, those are some pretty great effects on there. Then, of course, we went and we added up this Eye of Heaven on here. Now, like I say, this is a auxiliary weapon. We've got blast, we've got electric 2 on there. We've added some burn, some explosive damage. I went ahead and added the soul mending perk on it. That may be something I change out, but it is nice to get that 5% heal off of this weapon on occasion because you're dealing out 12,792. So, I mean, you're looking at probably 100 points of healing coming off of this thing. So not bad. A 5% chance of getting it. Or a 5% of the damage dealt. So you're getting about 100 shots. It's not quite as effective as, getting heals from a friend or using something like the Little Grace 3, which we do use on another build of this as well. But now when it comes to the armor on the ship, I went ahead and I started putting on the Celestial Dance on this particular build. It's going to discharge terrifying lightning attack that chains over to enemies, and it's fantastic. It's got lightning stream, charges a lightning attack that will chain up to 4 targets and deal a maximum damage of 1,600 electric per target. So that's not bad. So the longer your brace is held, the more powerful the attack is going to be, and the further the lightning is going to reach. You can hold it and it will release automatically on its own as well, or you can charge it up and just release it and get several pulses out. Now, if you ever get crowded in a group thing, just start popping this off, bracing and releasing. They will clear off. They're going to get off you just as soon as they can. So this is a pretty nice one, and it's going to really start to work with some of these furnitures that we're going to throw in here. So let's talk about furniture for this build here. Charge stores. Triggering storm struck on a target increases the next attack damage by 50%. So this lightning blast that you see, these divine winds, that is what is called a storm struck, okay? And it's going to, every target that you hit with that lightning blast is then going to increase the next attack by 50%. Now, if that doesn't stack, you're not going to be putting out, 100, an extra 100, 150, extra 100, 300% on stuff. But every shot's going to be 50% stronger than that first shot was, or than it should have been. So that's a good perk to have on here. It also increases the charge rate of a blaze. Now, you may be wondering, well, how do I charge up a blaze using explosives? And, of course, your electric damage. Well, a blaze automatically charges. If you've got a perk that's going to charge a blaze effect when you're doing damage, it's charging it up by 10%. So it will actually cause a blaze, which is like what was on the sandbuck, sends that blast radius of the fire rings out. It'll send that out. It's going to do that with explosive, and it's going to have an AoE with this electricity, and it just really starts to rack in and really add up. Plus, it's going to increase the electric damage by 5% with the furniture. Now, Ramrod Workshop, I apologize for this little stammering here, guys. Decreases the reload time of broadside weapons by 15%. Then increases the secondary damage dealt by broadside weapons by 10%. So we're going to decrease that time. Remember, we decreased by 7% already off of, or it was 10% or 15%. With the perk off the broadsides already, but now we're going to decrease another 15%, and then we're going to increase the secondary damage dealt by a broadside weapon by 10%, which happens to be explosive. So we're adding 10% explosive damage to an explosive broadside already. That's fantastic. Fusing station. Let me get me some water on this, guys. Decreases the reload time of front weapons and rear weapons by 12%. That's not bad. So we're decreasing the broadsides already. We're now decreasing the front and rear weapons. We're also increasing the secondary damage dealt by the front and rear weapons by 15%. And we're using those divine winds again. So we're basically adding the perk that's on this boat to the front and back of the ship, and then putting those great divine winds on there. Then the Amber Station increases the charge rate of Stormstruck status effect on a target by 8%. Hey, that's a good thing. We're going to be adding that on there, but we're also increasing the duration of storm struck status effect on our target by 8%. You may be wondering, what is storm struck? That is when you see those lightning bolts and sparks jumping around from ship to ship. Now AOE, that's what that is. That storm struck, guys. And it's just really keeps it lingering around, and that is great when you're fighting like shark or Zamaharabu or any of these sea monsters. Or large groups of ships like around the Mazurja or Dance Siango, I think her name is. And then, of course, your Pak down below. And they have all those little ships running around. This thing does a great job of sending electrical storms out to just jump from ship to ship to ship and just start destroying that stuff in a massive AoE. So, very nice weapon to have, or a very nice furniture to have there. Copper Fastening Station increases the secondary damage of electric weapons by 15%. Well, what's our secondary of this thing? Well, guess what? Our secondary is, you guessed it, the explosive perk. So we're increasing the explosive by another 15% that's already being increased on this ship status several times over now. Plus, we're increasing the maximum range of the electric weapons. So we're really putting out a lot of damage, not just with the electricity, but also with that explosive perk, guys. Shell Packing Station, we're increasing the area of effect of a bombard weapon by 7%, and we're reducing the reload time yet again of bombard weapons by 7%. Now that'll be all the way around the ship we're reducing, and this thing just really kicks them out. Fantastic job of that. Now we're going to go and I'm going to show you my other build on this ship. Now this one here is a great PvP build. The other one, great for PvE. This one here, PvP. I went ahead and threw an Ouroboros armor on there the other day. I should have selected ship. Sorry, guys. Trying some things out. So I do kind of like it with this Ouroboros armor. You can do some serious damage with this ship if you want to keep a offensive weapon on the auxiliary. So I was playing around with this back in the day, and I would use the little Grace 3 on it to kind of, heal. And it also does heal on the severe damage. This ship does take severe damage from forts pretty easy. I'm just going to be straight up with you. So the Ouroboros does a great job of healing that, or you can set up that little Grace 3 where you can cast it out to heal your teammates, and then it's kicking those heals back to you as well. It's repairing those types of damage. Totally up to you how you want to do it. Now, the Ouroboros does have some weak points. We'll discuss that a little bit. But like I say, totally up to you on how you want to do that. Now, when it comes to the weapons, we are running that Lang Cartois. Now, this is a great perk as far as it has the imminent, I think it's called the imminent doom. Yes, a delayed charge on it. So hits have 15% chance of inflicting a delayed explosion that deals 7,500 damage. Now, I understand when you put that on this ship, you're getting that shot for every shot, not just once in a while. It's every shot. If you hit a weak spot, you're getting that imminent doom every single shot. So I do recommend that you put that on this ship. Then on the sides, I'm using this Dardanelles gun. And like I say, this has not always been one of my favorites, but it just hits so hard with this ship. 5,304 damage. Great job. Unison allows all weapons to fire the same quadrant simultaneously. Has explosive 3, which adds 30% damage. Has explosive damage and a 40-meter blast radius. Now, granted, that's not as big of a radius as what we're getting from these Divine Winds or even a highest damage output, but with the build this thing has, it is a fort killer, and it'll flatten any ship. It'll flatten any of your, PvP that you're going to run into. I've got several videos out. Definitely make sure you check those out, guys. Dire Explosive ignores 11.3 of target's explosive resistance. That's a must-have because there's a lot of ships that are actually healing off of explosive damage now, so you want to ignore the resistance of these things and stuff. But be aware, if you shoot a ship and you see it heal, don't keep shooting it because these are so powerful. You will heal that ship. You need to change your target. and let one of your friends take it out. It's got something other than the explosive perk on their stuff. Siege is going to increase damage to structures by 30% on top of the additional 50% that you've already received from the ship. Basically, you're going to be one-shotting walls here in Tier 2. And it does a great job of that. Like I say, check those videos, guys. Severity. Hits have 12% chance of dealing additional 97% damage as severe damage. That hits pretty often with this ship. I got to say, I really do enjoy it. I did throw a fire bombard on the back end. I think I want to change that out maybe. I just haven't decided yet. The reason I put this one on here is I've got shock, amplified, electric, and second storm perks on this thing. And it does a really good job of helping fight off some of those ships when you do get them in there. Now I know it has an explosive on this, explosive 2 perk, but we've really boosted up the shock and the electric on this thing. So it does a pretty good job whenever you get those little sharpshooters. For those who have been fighting these forts, you know which ones I'm talking about. They heal when you hit them with electric and all that, or when you hit them with explosive. I may put a divine wind on this. I'm not decided yet, but we're still playing around with that. Then, of course, the Eye of Heaven you can throw on. This is another one that I'm working on. We're going to really focus in mostly on shock. I know it's got some blast damage on there too, but I'm really going to just focus on negating the electrical resistance of ships. That way it can just really just do a good job of getting a good fry in on them. So this is still a work in progress, but it does a great job when it comes to PvP. I haven't lost PvP with it yet, so that's always a good thing. But those are my top ships, my favorite ships, and we're going to talk a little bit about, again, some of my least favorite ships here, guys. The Barge is actually a really nice ship for a small ship. It's a firebrand type ship. I do prefer the sloop over it. Like I said, it does such a great job, that sloop in comparison. But when it comes down to it, I don't like the Badar like at all. For folks who like that old little fish fin look, looks like a brim or something like that coming after it. Obviously the Dow, not much to report on that thing. But when it comes down to it, the worst ship in this game, in my opinion, man, it's got to be that brig. I mean, it's gaudy, and there's just nothing special about it. It doesn't do a very good job. Now, when you're running it as a support ship, but I say support ship, you're using the spring loaders. That's all the thing it has going for it, is it helps with spring loaders. A lot of guys like to use those explosive mines and stuff, but with the mine sweeping furniture and things like that, it kind of just shut this ship down. There's just not much to this ship. So like I say, worst ship in the game right now, definitely Prometheus. There is a new ship coming out here in the next few weeks. It is going to be the frigate. If you want to see what the frigate looks like, guys, I'm going to tell you where to go see what she looks like. You're going to want to come over here to the Honorless Dien Sanaga. She is in a frigate. That is the ship you want to look at. That's the ship you're going to see, and that's the ship that we're going to be getting. It's a large ship. And let me tell you, it is looking like it's going to be a great ship. So y'all have a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed the video.